Ask the Boss is thrilled to have Kavita Sidhu to grace episode 10 of the Women at Work series. From top model to businesswoman, Kavita's diverse passion for the arts have taken her to her latest project, which is movie production. Let's have a listen to Kavita's take on her journey over the last 30 years to where she is today. Hello there, we're back at the Women at Work series of Ask the Boss podcast. In this episode, we have with us the gorgeous Kavita Sidhu, who has been at the forefront of beauty, style, and fashion for over 30 years.
Wow, yes.
Yeah, over 30 years. And
Yes.
you burst into the scene
Yes.
when you were still in school.
Yes, when I was still in school. Thank you so much, Sarina, for having me.
It is our pleasure. Thank you for being here. You had a
Yes.
busy morning.
Yes, I
before
did.
you
I
got
did have
here.
a busy morning. So I started modeling when I was actually 13.
13?
13,
Wow,
still
Form 1.
in school. Still in school, but I used to do TV commercials and some modeling stints as well, some catwalk.
Right.
So it was usually after school. So my parents say, okay, as long as you finish your studies, you can do your modeling work. Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Asunta High School, and then after that, I went to Australia. Yeah.
Right, okay. And how were you discovered to be a model?
Yeah, I mean, it was all a coincidence. It was one of those strange things. I mean, I was very active in sports in school, so I was an athlete. I loved sports. I mean, I was doing athletics, high jump, hockey. I was playing hockey. I did swimming. So my dad really encouraged us to do sports, and so this advertising agency came to my school at that time. I think I was probably 15 at the time, and they were auditioning. They wanted to audition the sports club. They were looking for a model to take part in their Milo advertisement. So they were looking for an athlete. And that's how it actually, that was how my advertising work started. So I auditioned, they chose me, and I became the main girl for Milo at that time. And then, I got more jobs after that. Yeah.
And being still a minor at the time, your parents must have helped you out quite a bit. Must have been a pillar for you to go through modeling contracts.
Yeah, well, no, we didn't really have that much. Yeah, we had contracts, but my mom was always with me. And we really looked at it, they looked at it as a hobby, and they really encouraged me because they said, okay, if this is what you want to do. But they were very particular that I focus on my studies first, which I did, So for me, it was just a lot of fun. I never grew up thinking that I would be a model. I never thought, I was always tall and gangly in school, and I was really more like a tomboy, like an athlete, So, it was one of those things. So people used to come to the school after I did the ad, even before that, modeling agencies would approach me, probably because I was tall, and it was something that came naturally to me. So I enjoyed it tremendously, modeling, catwalk especially.
And your parents are both doctors.
Yeah.
Did you ever want to be a doctor, or did you?
That's a good question. I did want to become a doctor. My dad always said, whatever you want to do, it's fine. I just, I think the entertainment and industry got the better of me in that sense, because after that, I just started, getting into acting, and it really was me pursuing it. I did have a passion for it. It was something that was so different. And arts was never something that I grew up with at home. Even though my brother, who now lives in London, he's a psychiatrist, a doctor, but he's so artistic. Like, he designs, he paints. So I decided to pursue that line of work, and then I thought maybe one day I'll go back to studying like psychology. It really interests me. I read a lot of books on psychology, but no.
But that didn't happen because you just went on. You just
correct.
From one thing to the other, from modeling to
to acting.
Winning beauty pageants.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the first Malaysian to win an international beauty pageant.
Yes, that's right.
How old were you then?
I was in my early 20s, 21, 22. That was, again, it was not something that I pursued. You know, it's funny, Sarina, it's like things just sort of fall in my lap, and it's whether I wanted to take that opportunity. When it came to beauty pageants, it was not something that I aspired to do, but I had this, the organizer from Singapore, he organized beauty pageants, and he came to Malaysia and he said, I want you to represent Malaysia in this international beauty contest. So there was a sort of synergy because it's part of modeling, you know, and so I said, okay. My mum went with me. We went to Russia. That was when the beauty pageant was taking place. And it was an incredible experience.
Oh.
It really was.
You were still very young, 22?
21, that's right.
21, 22?
Yeah.
Wasn't it daunting to fly to Russia and compete amongst international contestants?
Yeah, it was. But tracking back, when I was just turned 18, right after high school, I went to Paris to model. That was on my own initiative. I went to the modeling agency in Singapore, one of the top agencies, and I said, here's my lookbook. I had everything prepared. I want to go to Paris. And she said, okay. So she didn't set me up, but I went on my own, called agencies. So this is me alone.
At the age of 18?
At 18. And it was, you know, it's different now than it was then. Because then you didn't have like social media where you could, you know, hook each other up or have agencies represent you. Back then it was really more making the calls and going there on your own and going for auditions. So I had an agency accept me in Paris. And at that time it was a novelty, you know, to have someone who looks like me. Mostly they were like Europeans, Americans, so they liked that, and there was a demand actually. And so yeah, that's how I started. So when I went to Russia, it was like I had traveled already. But beauty contest is so different though.
How is it? How is it different?
I don't know. I feel it, yes, you are judged on, you know, your abilities as well, your talent, you know, but it's very much superficial in a way, you know. And to me, and I still remember, even at that time, I said the same thing. I said, beauty is so relative. Like, how can you judge one girl and prefer this beauty to this sort of beauty, you know? But at that time, I mean, being a Malaysian, you know, and to win a contest like that, it was nice to see that. You know, there were a lot of other blonde candidates there, blonde girls, and yet, do you know what I mean? To me, it was never a question actually. It was a beautiful experience. There was such acceptance from everyone. Yeah.
And from winning the beauty pageant, that sort of did that springboard you into other jobs, be it modeling or covers of magazines?
Yes, it did. It did. It did definitely springboard my career. My career was as a model was already moving. That did give me the recognition, more recognition. I was still struggling with by myself on what really I wanted to do. You know, so I kind of treated it almost not like a full-time job, because I always felt that I wanted to do something more. And so that was my mindset. I don't know if that's such a good thing or not. Even though I was dedicated, I was focused on it, I knew it was a short-term thing, and what do I really want to do after this? So, but it was great, I think, building blocks for building your confidence, on how to groom yourself, on expectations of clients, and that's a big deal, you know. When you're 18, 19, 20, right, you meet brands, you know, designers, you meet people, big corporations that hire you and have a certain expectation, and that's a lot for you if you don't have the right guidance. You know, I had, of course, my family supporting me, and I would like to think that I was quite level-headed and grounded, you know, but it's tough, and that's where the pressure comes in, and it's how you deal with the pressure of that expectation. You always have to look great. You always have to, you know, make sure that the client's happy. So,
but being naturally beautiful helps.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
of course, you're blessed
no,
with
thank you.
5'10".
Yeah,
not many
5'10".
Malaysian are 5'10".
Yes, that's definitely an asset as a model, I think. Not so much as an actress, believe it or not, because you can't be too tall if you're an actress. But yeah, you do. But at the same time, you have to take care of yourself, and you have to be able to maintain it, and that's so important. And have that right mindset and confidence. So it's all of it together, you know. So it's not easy.
Yeah,
Definitely.
when you went abroad on your own at the age of 18,
Yes.
you would have had a lot of confidence in you to actually approach, the international runway, so to speak.
Yes.
And work for big brands in Europe.
For French designers.
For French.
Yeah. I mean, I did, because it's something that I wanted, but at the same time, you're always feeling insecure, you know. So it's how you manage that, you know, how you use that sort of. Your passion has to be greater, and your will has to be greater than your fears, I think, and that's something that can take you through life. And bearing in mind, there were a lot of girls that I knew, models at that time, they just packed up and left.
Right.
You know, and I had that same feelings too sometimes. If you look at some of the great supermodels that I've recently been looking into, and their motivation was that they needed the money, they wanted it to work, they had nothing to go back to. So that is the sort of a determination that some of these girls had. You know, I had the luxury of knowing that I can go home anytime. You know, my parents are there, and I can, you know, study and do whatever I wanted to do. So I don't know if that's such a good thing or not. I mean, of course, I'm blessed in that way, but I felt I had options, that I didn't have to, you know, kill myself and make sure that it works, you know. So I don't know. Yeah.
Can you share with us some interesting behind the scenes moments when you walked at the international runways? Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's a great feeling. It's so, you have to be so disciplined. Expectations are high. You cannot even put on half an inch in your fitting size. Every day I would go to my modeling agency. They were fantastic. They really take care of you like their own girls. Girls are so young, you know. I was so young. I mean, but they would measure me every day and say, "This is how you have to eat." You know, you make sure, like, I kind of never really had a problem at that time with my size, but it is because you have to be careful. And everyone is built differently, you know. And so this is something that I believe in. And when I started designing, I hired models. I wanted models that were curvier, that were more sort of real, because especially at that time, I mean, still today, they use models that are so skinny that to me doesn't reflect beauty and being feminine. That's just my personal opinion, right? So, but that's what it was. So you have to be a certain size. And I think we see the evolution of it, you know. Then you've got the waves, and then you had the more curvier girls, and nowadays it's fantastic. I mean, you still, actually, to be honest, you still, there is a certain sort of cookie cutter model, you know, size. But there's so much more acceptance for women with different sizes and embracing that different skin color. I mean, even at that time when I was in Paris, there was that. There were designers that would say, okay, for this season, no, we're only taking white girls. You know, for next season. So it was very much, it's very much the reality. You know, and even today when you look at some runway models, yes, you've got the Asian, the Chinese girls, you've got the, you know, the African girls, you've got the, you know, the Indian girls, but there's still not as much. And so there's always should be a fight for that equality.
And actually we see that a lot now.
Yes.
Especially like in Netflix, you see all these movies. And a lot of acceptance on people from all over the world. To be acting in roles which were previously dominated by Caucasians. Caucasian actors and actresses. So the boundaries are being broken for sure, but it's still there. But it is,
But you still have people like Naomi Campbell who fights for the rights of the black models. You know, and so we need more people like that, I think.
So from modeling, you went into acting.
Yes.
You've acted in so many movies actually on the big screen. Yeah.
Yes, not too many movies, but yes, I have acted in a few, 7 or 8 Malay feature films.
Quite a bit.
Yes.
Considering that, you're not really interested in this, in line of work in the first place, but you got to do almost 10 movies.
And TV dramas, and also acted in a TV drama in Singapore as well.
In Singapore, right? Yeah. With the Surya, is it Surya channel in Singapore?
No, it was with TCS.
Right, okay.
So, that was, and I've done a few. No, definitely, acting is amazing. I'm also produced as well now, and even at that time, so I produced my own shows. So that's a whole different industry to be in, and that's really exciting. I'm in the midst now of producing my next feature film.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, so we're working on that. It's been a work in progress. It's not easy business being in the film industry. But yes, so that's what we're planning to do. I work with a great team of directors, producers. So yes.
Yeah, and the roles that you've played, from romance to to thriller to even horror movies.
Yes, horror. Yeah.
How is it acting in a horror movie? I mean, I'm terrified of even watching a horror movie.
I
don't know how you act in one. Well, in a few actually. You've acted in a few horror movies.
Correct. So I did Pontianak, Harum Sunal Malam 1 and Part 2. And in fact, that's the next film that we're working on, to bring Pontianak Harum Sunal Malam Part 3 back.
Right. Also, you're producing that.
Yes.
Part 3.
Yes.
Right.
Producing and also acting. And I also produced some of the other films, co-produced, associate produced. And so we have Maya Karin that's on board, she's coming on board. So I mean, acting in horror films is, it's different. It's fun, it's intense.
It's fun, I'm sure it's intense, but when you go home at night, were you like, doesn't the scene like appear in your head before you go to sleep?
Yeah, it gets a bit spooky for sure. I'm not easily spooked, but we had incidences when we were on set that people seeing things, and it was just weird. But it's fun, and I think the audiences love it. And there's always a bit of a story and a meaning to it as well. So these are myths that we believe growing up in Asia and Malaysia, So it's exciting. Yeah.
I didn't know that you're producing movies now.
Yes. I have been for a while.
You have? Right, okay. I've always pictured you as,
right, in front of...
behind the cameras, in front of the camera.
Yeah. No, so it's like you, we love to create. I love that, creating new projects, being behind the scenes. You feel that you understand it the best, and you have a great team with you. So that's I'm really driven by that, Yeah,
and because you've been in this line, from modeling to beauty pageants to acting for a good number of years, and you've got a lot of experience behind your belt.
Yes.
So when you worked for international labels, going back to modeling, was it a natural progression from modeling to acting to later on being a designer, or were you like it all happened at once? It sort of overlapped with one another.
Right. It didn't really overlap so much, but definitely modeling gave me the confidence, gave me the exposure, the contacts to get into acting. And again, even with acting, it was my own initiative. I saw the ad for a audition and I went for it. So that's the thing for girls out there and people out there, that if you want something, you really have to work and go for it, And it's so much easier for younger people nowadays. The social media, you can use that, and they do, You can reach out to people that way, but you have to make the first step and initiate it. And it was, I never overthought it. I just thought, oh, maybe I should try this, even though I had no experience in acting. And it was very daunting, but I did it. And I went for my first audition. I was so nervous, and that's where I met my first director and producers that I'm still with them today. So they kind of grew me. So everyone needs a mentor. And I think I was lucky in that sense that I had good mentors that sort of guide you. And it is tough. Acting is so different from modeling. Acting is you embody another character, and there's so much that goes into it. Modeling is just you be yourself, or maybe yes, you're playing a certain character with the designer's outfits, but you have to be aware of the camera. Whereas in acting, you are in a space where you have to pretend the camera's not there.
In a space of consisting of many people, right?
Yes.
Even like in this small space, there'll probably be 10 people in front of you.
Yeah. And no vanity and no egos, and it's about knowing yourself, knowing your character, really being, being able to express yourself in a way that you shouldn't be afraid to do. It's hard to explain acting. I think, the great actors are the ones that use their life experiences and bring that into the moments in the whatever character they're playing. I admire that so much. I love watching great TV series and films with great actors. That's incredible.
I was watching this movie. It's like the Asian version of Top Gun.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just amazing how the actors actually acted like real fighter pilots, and just don't know how they did it. How probably a lot of CGI as well, but it's just amazing how they've really carried on the role. And it must be difficult stepping into a role that's completely different from your everyday life.
Yes.
And in this latest series that's being shown on TV2, you act as a pilot. You carry the role of a pilot.
Correct. And that's a TV series. But when we do films, it's interesting you say that, Sarina, because there is a rehearsal process. The rehearsal process is so important, like at least a month before we shoot. And it's every day going through your character, understanding it, working with the other actors. And I think what happens here sometimes is that, actors just rush from one character, one job to the next without really getting to know, without really doing rehearsals, and so those are the things, the problems that we face, I think. And I think the director plays a big part in guiding the actors. So if an actress or an actor doesn't have enough time to get to know their characters, then it's just superficial acting. As talented as you are, and they're great, we have so many talented actors in Malaysia, right? But if you want to take it to the next level where you show your acting with different layers, it's something you bring something extra, and that requires a real commitment to the character, rehearsals, and really working at it. So that's some of the challenges I think that people are facing now, And so the director that I work with and the producers, they only will work with actors who are willing to commit to the role. Like, for instance, we were planning on doing an epic action film, and so that required the female actress to be able to ride a horse. This is what you do beautifully, a great horse rider, Sarina, polo player. And so she took horse riding classes, and she's doing that, and how to use how to use the bow and arrow, and for your fighting sequences. So it's a lot that goes into it.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
Yeah, to watch that.
Yes, it's not out yet. We haven't shot it yet, but it's in the works. So that's
you mentioned Pontianak Harum Sundal Malam.
Part 3.
Part 3 is that the one?
No, that's not the one.
Oh, you're working
different
at a few movies at the same time.
Two different film projects.
I see,
So Pontianak's coming first, and then we'll be working on the next one.
And how do you fit all this into other things that you do? Because you do a lot of things. You're a master of a lot of things, of a lot of trades. You even run restaurants. And you had a fashion label
correct.
Under your name.
Correct, I did that, yes. I was designing as well.
You mentioned that from your modeling days, you sort of knew what sort of curvature, all the the specifics when it comes to designing clothes.
Yes. So I love fashion, obviously, and I love designing. Again, the creativity aspect of it, just like you how you create your own brand and your own products, and I love that. So I did do that, and that was very fulfilling. And I will bring that back again. I missed a few seasons the past couple of years, so it's a real passion. It's quite effortless. I love designing, outfits to make women feel beautiful. And look beautiful, and
they certainly did. Your fabrics, you imported them from Italy.
Correct.
It was very different from what what's a lot out there.
I see it. I used a lot of Italian silk at that time. So that's something that I love to do, and batik as well. I think my last collection I had done in batik, which is done in Indonesia in Yogyakarta. A master batik artist. Like I gave her the designs that I wanted, and she literally drew it. It was just beautiful. And then she sent it back here, and I did a collection on batik. But we have great batik makers here as well. So that's something I'm exploring for this year.
I really hope you will come up with a new line.
Oh,
because
thank you.
They were beautiful.
Yes.
The ones that.
And you one of my customers.
I had a piece.
Yes.
I still have it till today. I was thinking of wearing it today, but
Oh,
then
really?
I decided, okay, I'll save it for an evening event, because it's beautiful with the beautiful lace. And
Yes.
I think it was a bit of batik as well at that time when it had batik motifs.
Yes.
But the Indonesian ones, the smaller motifs.
Yes.
Yeah. So, as you're a marketing director of your group of restaurants, right?
Yes. So that's more my husband's.
Your husband's,
it's his passion, and it's his.
Does he cook?
He can cook, but he's not the chef. So he's got Italian chefs that and they oversee it, obviously. So he's doing really well, and he's expanding his restaurants. He has one in Roberto's in Bangsa Shopping Centre, and so he has got two actually Roberto's, and now they're expanding two more. So that's a full-time job. So I assist him, in doing the marketing and the promotions for the brand, and we try not to overstep each other. I think that's really important. I mean, he prefers it and I prefer it. As a couple, I think he understands that I have my different passions and work, and so I leave him to that.
Yeah. So the cooks for your husband's restaurants. Are they from Italy, or do you train local cooks to eventually meet the second chef? I don't know.
Right, sous chef and all. Definitely there are locals as well. But his main chefs are from Italy, actually from where he's from, in the northern region, Tuscany. I mean, it's his pizza chef initially had come from his hometown, who was doing pizzas, and that was 4 or 5 years ago. He opened up Luce, so it's really authentic Italian pizza, and then mostly from people that he knows from his hometown. He's been lucky that way, so they come in and they do the northern Italian cuisine, and so it's a tight ship. He's got a great team, and it is tough for sure. Everyone says that about the restaurant business, especially the kitchen staff. But he's got it together, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You mentioned northern Italian cuisine. I can't tell the difference, northern and southern. What's the difference?
Neither can I. No, but mostly I think it's the type of dishes that they serve. It's more specific to that region. Like for instance. In Naples, the pizzas are different. They're like thicker crust. It's a different way of doing it. So the northern, they do it differently. So I think little touches like that. He's constantly introducing new dishes on the menu. So it's like Tuscan. He calls it the Tuscan dishes. So it's all great. It's healthy. I love it. I'm there every day, like having my food. So yeah.
So you do the marketing for your husband's group of restaurants. How is it different from marketing for your fashion brand, for example?
Right.
Because there is the target market, and obviously you would want to bring in, target the right people, the right crowd, because obviously marketing is very expensive, and you would have to plan accordingly to who you market your products to.
That's interesting. I mean, we do have our social media platforms, of course. I think when it comes to the restaurants, he has his regulars, so it sort of markets itself. I think branding is really important, so that's what I focus on. So what is the message that you're putting out there? How is the branding? So I overlook that all the time. The sensitivities of being in Malaysia, how do we address that? So I'm very particular about things like that. Like the captions and the words that you use. So when it comes to target market, there is the restaurant business is a wider target, obviously. So He has got different restaurants that has different target markets. So he's got a fine dining restaurant as well, but now mostly like for Roberto's is more casual dining, osteria style, and that really works. You know, so it's a wide range of customers. You know, like in Bangsa Shopping Centre, for instance, Roberto's there, more than 50% of our clientele are Malays. You know, and then when you go into the city, it's a little bit different. So it's really a wide range of customer base, you know. Yeah. People love Italian food.
Yeah. It works every time.
Yeah. You know,
Anywhere
great service, you know, consistently, you know, delivering good food. People like that.
And it's healthy as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You also speak a lot on what's happening in Gaza.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're an advocate against what's happening there. And
Yes.
I've seen you speak at rallies.
Yes.
In furtherance of this cause. How is it like speaking at rallies? And that's a different role altogether, to be passionate about something that's, you know, of a global nature. You know, it's humanitarian aid, and I've seen you help to dispatch food over to Gaza.
Yes.
So
I mean, I think
how
what I've
did you
done
get involved in that? Sorry.
No problem. Yeah, I mean, what I've done is very small. I think it is so important for all of us to be able to raise awareness when it comes to what is happening in Palestine and the genocides that's going on. And I think what happened for me was that I had a group of friends. I'm very influenced by them. It's Palestine's issue has been something that they've been talking about for a long time, Sarina, you know, over 20 years. So I was aware of it and I knew about it. And so when the latest, you know, a war happened or was on the brink of happening, and I could see it, and I think my friends as well, and I kept posting it up and talking about how, you know, there is, this has been happening for so long, and that it's about freeing Palestine. A lot of people didn't understand it at that time. People who didn't know about it, and obviously, people understand what it means now. So it was a very, what should I say, a coincidence in a way that I got called, and then some of the organizers for these rallies reached out to me. I was quite surprised through my social media actually, and they DM'd me, so Kavita, would you mind coming and you know, joining us for our rally? And I think one of the reasons why they wanted me to do that was because, you know, I was a non-Muslim speaking up for a cause that people thought for a long time that it is about, you know, the Muslims. It's more than that, obviously. You know, you've got Christians and Jews there as well. And so that probably was why they wanted me to speak out on it. And of course I agreed, you know. And I didn't realize the positive feedback from it, and how people wanted me to do more after that. So you know, it's we need to speak out. You know, my two nieces that live in London, I mean, they're so vocal. I think the younger generation can see what is happening. People need to understand what is happening. People need to go back to the history of it, and it's about humanity, Sarina.
Yeah,
you know?
And the realization is more after 7th of October.
Yes.
Because people spoke about it before, but now even more so.
Correct.
And you form part of the collective voice to keep the conversation going and to keep the pressure on.
Yes.
To get them to cease fire. To stop bombing and to come to an acceptable solution.
Yes, and even till today. So, you know, I have a lot of my girlfriends, and some of them studied abroad in London, and they have friends, you know, from Jordan, and you know, it's everyone's just collectively come together, regardless of what race or religion you're from, and to understand and see the humanitarian aspect of it, and how children and women and men are being killed. So that is so important, you know, and I'm so proud that my circle of friends and family are part of this. Proud that we proud of that we are trying to make a difference, and it has made a difference.
The little that we can do, even if it's just posting on social media, it all adds up, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, if you look at Motaz, Motaz Aziza, who got like 18 million followers, it's because of us, if you think about it. Because of everyone supporting him, and then now he managed to get out and speak about it. So never underestimate the value of just one person saying something about it, Yeah.
Yeah. So what else is in the pipeline besides producing movies? And what do you have within the next 10 years horizon?
Oof. Well, I don't plan that far, but yes, so as I said, it's the films that's taking my focus now. I'm getting back into my batik design, and I'm trying to organize an event for that. Restaurants, my husband Roberto, he's expanding his restaurants, and just really finding that balance in life too. I think that's really important. I meditate, I do my meditation, I read up on spirituality and psychology, and I really have to take a step back and do that to balance things in life, And especially now what's going on in the world, it's so hard to look at our social media sometimes, it really is. And so we keep fighting, we keep moving forward. But at the same time, I think your mental health is so important, So that's...
But with all the experience that you have, you can actually share a lot of your knowledge from even your modeling days on how one would stand, carry themselves, how to speak in public, in a social setting. And do you have people asking you for advice to train them to carry themselves in public?
Yes, actually. I will be doing grooming courses, finishing school with a friend of mine.
Finishing school? I think that's fantastic, because we hear about finishing schools in Switzerland, in Europe, but there isn't really a finishing school in Malaysia. I think it would be great for you to start a finishing school.
Yeah, thank you, Sarina. It's so encouraging. Thank you. Yes. So that is something that I'm looking into as well. And so we're in the planning phase now. So let's see how that goes. But there is a demand for it, and I do have people coming up to me and asking me for advice. And so let's see what we can do with that. I think that would be good. I mean, it's taking how we groom ourselves and confidence, and it's a whole package. It's not something that's just superficial. It goes much more, I think, deeper than that.
Yeah, because when you go to school, no one teaches you.
Correct.
I mean, it doesn't come naturally to everyone, right? So when you leave school and go into the real world out there, it really helps if you have that extra, that X factor on to how to carry yourself, how to speak. Yeah,
social interaction with others, in the workplace or socially. That's really important, something that I do all the time. So yes.
It's exciting. I'm looking forward to see this finishing school as well. Yeah, I've got a friend who's also a former model, and people go up to her to ask about, can you show us how to stand in front of the camera? Little things like that models would just probably not think twice. But to other people, it makes a lot of difference to sit straight with your, not to hunch.
Yes. I know.
Even for me, I just have to make sure I not hunch. It comes quite naturally sometimes to just, relax and hunch a little bit. Yeah, but it makes a lot of difference. Yeah, when you sit straight. Yeah.
I mean, working out helps. You know that working out, like in doing yoga. Pilates, I haven't really gotten into, but I have some girlfriends who do it quite a bit. So those are all important things.
Yeah, it is important to exercise.
Yes,
but you're naturally slim. But you still exercise? Well, it's for the muscles and for for
I'm naturally slim,
health.
but I know I definitely need to exercise, and I love to exercise for sure. But I generally eat quite healthily, even though I love chocolates and ice cream. So I don't limit myself from things like that, but I do eat quite healthily, I think. Yes.
But Italian food, it's healthy, but at the same time, there's a lot of carbohydrates, right?
Yeah.
So how do you control the amount of carbohydrates in Italian food?
Yes. So I do eat carbs. I feel like my body needs it, but it's good. I mean, like for the pizza dough, for instance, the Italian, we get the dough from Italy, so it's Italian pizza dough, which is actually quite healthy. So you don't feel it sitting in your stomach when you eat the pizzas and the pastas as well. I mean, so yes, there is carbohydrates. I think we all need a bit of carbs in our lives. I know I do. So yeah, balancing it out with protein, you know. So that's what and that's why I need to work out as well. Yeah.
I remember when I was in Rome, eating was not a problem, because there's just so much food everywhere.
Yes.
But when I went to other parts of Italy, it was like pizza and pasta for lunch and dinner. I mean, I didn't have much options available. You know,
Right.
and I don't know, but was it just me? Or do the Italians have pizza and pasta for lunch and dinner?
No, they have seafood. They're known for their seafood. They have amazing seafood and fish. But yeah, a lot of it has got like pasta in it for sure.
Yeah.
But it's healthy, you know, somehow.
The dough is healthy?
Yes. And somehow Roberto and I feel, he said, have you noticed every time we go to Italy, maybe because we walk a lot as well when you're traveling, right? He said we never put on weight, even though we eat so much of the pasta. So it's just the way they make it, the olive oil, the ingredients that they use, the tomatoes. I mean, it's just, it feels healthy.
Lots of antioxidants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So thank you for being here, Kavita.
Thank you, Sarina. Thank you so much.
And sharing about what you do. And I'm sure lots of young people out there, if they want to be models and to go into acting later on, I mean, it opens up doors, doesn't it?
It does.
And
It does
modeling.
open up. Yeah, it does open up doors.
Yeah.
And, you know, just plan for the future. I think
But
that's
at the
really
same
important.
time, it's also good to have plan B, right?
Yes.
You've always had that plan B behind you. Like if this doesn't work out, I can always go back to studying.
Correct.
You left that option open.
Correct,
Yeah?
absolutely. Yeah, and get good mentors as well. I think that's
mentors.
important. So yes.
Yeah, and your mentor, from acting to producing.
Yes.
That's amazing. You just didn't stop
Yeah.
at acting. There was always something more that you could do.
Yes, yes.
Something more to progress to.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. We need to keep on progressing and finding our passions. They change as you evolve, you know. So, yes.
Yeah. Thank you again. Yeah.
Thank you.